Alrighty, folks, you know I'm feeling great on this beautiful day because I'm 3-0 my last three NFL tier membership picks on my premium page. And the good news is I have three more NFL tier membership picks going off here this weekend. And if you sign up for that package here today on my premium page, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on the free videos and what I do on my premium page. Well, what I do here on the free videos is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side, and total. And what I do on my premium site is I actually share with you which one of these free plays I actually like the best. And if you want to access every single premium selection of mine, you may want to think about signing up for my full access, all-inclusive chairman package. Chairman members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my chairman podcast absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. And with that, folks, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to start off with the Panthers at the Saints, 1 o'clock Eastern kickoff. New Orleans is -6, totals 38.5. And as bad as the Panthers are, well, I'm just not sure the Saints are good enough to cover this number here. They're one of the worst point spread covering teams in professional sports right now. They're currently 0-5 against the number in their own building. And out of 12 total ball games this year, the Saints failed to cover in all of those contests except for 2. And even though this Saints defense has certainly kept them in ball games, it ain't because of that pass rush. These guys average fewer sacks a game than any other team besides one. And that's certainly good news for Panther fans because they do tend to dink and dunk. They're completing over 22 throws a game. And when it comes to defensive performance, well, don't let those point totals fool you. This Carolina secondary has been tough to throw against. They're allowing just $180 a game through the air. Now, injury-wise, Bozeman, Haynes, Gross-Matos, Tremble, and Sullivan are questionable. Williams and Hurst are out. Meanwhile, for the Saints on the other side of things, quarterback Derek Carr, he is questionable for them. Werner and Jordan are also questionable on that defense. Now, total-wise, the Saints have seen 67% of their games this year stay under the total. Meanwhile, Carolina went 5-1 to the under in their last 6. Give me the Panthers +6, under 38.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Lions-Bears, 1 o'clock East. Detroit's the 3-point favorite on the road here. Totals 43. The Lions are playing their best football away from Detroit, and they got the W in all of their road games except for one. When it comes to offensive production, the Lions are a top 3 passing team on the road. They're currently leading the league in time of possession while traveling. Jared Goff's 4th in the league in passing yards. St. Brown's got 1,000 yards receiving already. They're facing a Chicago defense who's 25th in passing defense, dead last in sacks. Look for Goff to have plenty of time back there to pick apart this Chicago secondary. Now, injury-wise, Scott Jones and Ngakoue are questionable for Chicago. Equanimous St. Brown is also out for the Bears, the brother of Amon-Ra. Meanwhile, for Detroit, Hooker and Ragnow are out. Rodriguez is questionable. When it comes to that weather report, cold and blustery in the Windy City. Typical weather for this time of year. 34 degrees and sunny by game time and obvious wind. Now, total-wise, Chicago did see 3 out of their last 5 at home get over the total. Meanwhile, Detroit's last 4 straight all got over the total themselves. 7-2 to the over in their last 9. Give me the Lions -3, over 43. Next ball game, it is going to be Texans at the Jets, 1 o'clock Eastern start time. Houston's -3, totals 33. And I'll tell you, the Texans should have little problems with New York on the road here. They're 4-1 in their last 5, and they do a nice job of throwing the football. I realize we're going to have some weather in this one, but I still think they're going to be able to sling it. The youngster, C.J. Stroud, he leads the NFL in passing yards. He averages nearly 13 yards per completion. And I'll tell you what, as good as this Jets defense is, well, they're always on the field. They can't get off the field. Terrible in defensive time of possession. And they give up a ton of points early in games. New York's in the bottom 3 in first quarter points allowed. And of course, the Jets' biggest issue is their offensive unit. It's an absolute disaster. They average just 14 points a game, and they rank second to last in total yards. And of course, like I said, this weather we're going to see in Jersey, well, it's not going to help the Jets offensively. Anyway, injury-wise, Uzomah, Brownlee, and Schweitzer are out. Hall, Warren, and Franklin Myers are questionable. Meanwhile, for Houston, Dell and Schultz are out. Fant, Brown, and Rankins are questionable. And like I said, weather-wise, wet and sloppy in East Rutherford on Sunday. Rainy and windy through most of the game, most likely. It is a turf field, so you're not going to have to worry about mud, but still, it's going to be really wet. Now, 6 out of the Jets' last 7 contests all stayed under the total. Meanwhile, Houston's gone 7-2 to the under in their last 9. Give me the Texans -3, under 33. Next contest, Colts, Bengals, 1 o'clock Eastern start time. Cincinnati's -2.5, totals 44. And I'll just be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of Cincy in this spot here. They lost 3 out of their last 4 ball games. And their secondary's been atrocious at home. The Bengals are in the bottom 3 in pass defense in their own stadium. And they're taking on an Indy team who's on a 4-game winning streak themselves. And they play their best football on the road. They're 5-1 away from Indy. They covered in all of those games except for 1. And as bad as their defense has been this year, these guys have certainly stepped it up in their road trips. The Colts are in the top 3 in yards allowed per play while traveling. Now, injury-wise, Brents and Speed are questionable. Taylor and Smith are out. Meanwhile, for Cincy on the other side, Reeder, Boyd, and Smith are questionable for them. Taylor Britt's also inactive. Now, weather-wise, cloudy and upper 30s by game time. About a 10-mile-an-hour wind by kickoff as well. The Bengals are 4-2 to the under on their own turf. Meanwhile, the Colts saw unders recently against the likes of New England and Carolina. Give me the Colts +2.5, under 44. Next ball game, Jags, Browns, 1 o'clock Eastern start time. Cleveland's 2.5 at home, totals 33 and a hook. And as bad as Cleveland is throwing the football, I really think it's going to be their defense that dominates this game Sunday. Cleveland's allowing fewer points a game at home than any other team in the league. And of course, as many of you know, the Browns have the #1 passing defense in the league. You simply just can't throw against them. And that could be a problem for Jacksonville on Sunday. Starting quarterback Trevor Lawrence is questionable with a sprained ankle. I'm surprised they still have him in the injury report. That injury looked nasty last week. I can't see him playing on Sunday, which, hey, that means if you go with a backup, you're most likely relying on that run game, and that is something Jacksonville has not done well. These guys are in the bottom 3 in the league in yards per rush attempt. Now, injury-wise, once again, Trevor Lawrence is questionable with an ankle. Christian Kirk and Brenton Strange are out, so even if Lawrence plays, he's down a few guys to throw it to, and on top of that, potentially Travis Etienne out of the backfield because Etienne's questionable with a rib injury. So overall for Jacksonville, it's Braswell, Kirk, Strange, Little, and Herndon who are out. Campbell, Fatukasi, Johnson, Etienne, and Lawrence are questionable. Meanwhile, for Cleveland on the other side, Jones, Ward, and Cooper are questionable to suit up. Mitchell's inactive. And weather-wise, typical Cleveland weather this time of year. Cold, cloudy, dreary, windy. All that by game time. Not quite Jacksonville this time of year. Certainly elements not favorable to the Jags. Now, total-wise, the Browns saw all 6 of their home games stay under the number this year. The Jaguars saw 3 out of their last 5 road games stay under the line themselves. Give me Cleveland -2.5, under 33 and a hook. All right, next matchup, Rams, Ravens, 1 o'clock Eastern start time. Baltimore's the 7-point favorite at home, totals 39. And for a team as good as Baltimore right now, this does seem like a pretty generous number. I like the number. They're 6-3 against the spread in their last 9, 7-2 straight up during that time frame. When it comes to running the football, no one's doing it better than Baltimore. These guys lead the NFL in rush yards per game. But believe it or not, even with a guy like Lamar Jackson on the team, it's actually not the offense that's the strength of this franchise. It's their defensive play. Baltimore allows fewer points a game than any other defense in the league. And that's certainly bad news for the Rams because these guys complete just 59% of their throws. And when it comes to the point spread, well, LA failed to cover in 4 out of their last 6. Failures to cover against the likes of the Seahawks, Packers, and Steelers. Now, injury-wise, Higbee, Lake, Hecht, and Young are questionable for the Rams. Malik Ham inactive for Baltimore. When it comes to the weather, rainy and windy in the Inner Harbor on Sunday. Not great weather for the indoor team Rams. Now, the Ravens saw unders recently against the likes of the Chargers, Seahawks, and Titans. Meanwhile, 5 out of the Rams' last 8 stayed under the line. Give me Baltimore -7, under 39. Next contest, little divisional game here. Bucks, Falcons, 1 o'clock East. Atlanta's -1.5, totals 41. Now, the Falcons won their last 2 straight, and they played their best football at home. They're 4-2 straight up in their own building, and they've played some pretty good defense, especially late in games. The Falcons are in the top 3 in the league in fewest fourth-quarter points allowed, and they're facing a Tampa offensive unit who scores just 19 points a game themselves, and they simply just can't run the football. These guys are dead last in the league in rush yards per play. And out of the Bucks' last 8 ball games, they lost all of them except for 2. Now, injury-wise, Dean and White are out on D. Britt and Vea are also questionable for the Bucks. Meanwhile, for Atlanta on the other side, London, Landman, Onyemata, and McGarry are inactive. Dahlman, Hughes, Okuda, and Terrell are questionable for them. 7 out of the Falcons' last 10 ball games stayed under the total. Meanwhile, the Bucks are 70% to the under in their last 10. Give me the Falcons -1.5, under 41. Next matchup, Vikings, Raiders, 4:05 Eastern kickoff. Minnesota's -2.5, totals 40 and a hook. And as short as this number is, well, the Vikes have been perfect against the point spread on the road this year. They're 6-0 against the spread in their travels. And when it comes to defensive play, well, you just can't throw on these guys when they travel. They have a top 5 passing defense on the road. And a lot of that is affected by this pass rush up front. Danielle Hunter's 13.5 sacks are 3rd in the league. Handful of forced fumbles for Hunter as well. He is a disruptor. He's facing a Raider offense who scores just 16 points a game. And they can't establish a run game. The Raiders are rushing for fewer yards a game than any other team except for 1. Now, defensively, well, Max Crosby's questionable with a knee injury. Certainly bad news for this Raider defense. Malga and Faxon are out. Meanwhile, for Minnesota on the other side, they're mostly healthy except for Ingram and Jackson. They are questionable. Now, Minnesota went 8-2 to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Raiders saw all of their home games this year stay under the total except for 1. Give me the Vikes -2.5, under 40 and a hook. All right, next matchup, another divisional game here. Seahawks, Niners, 4:05 Eastern start time. San Francisco's -13.5, totals 46. And as big as this number is, well, I just don't have any issues with the Niners covering it. They won their last 4 straight, and they averaged 33.5 points a game in those victories. And by the way, they beat up on the likes of Jacksonville, Philadelphia, and yup, you guessed it, Seattle during that stretch. Now, defensively, the Niners are in the top 3 in rushing yards allowed, top 3 in yards allowed per completion. Meanwhile, on offense, well, they lead the NFL in yards per throw. This is a dominant unit on both sides of the football. They're facing a Seahawks secondary who allows 25 completions a game. They're actually in the bottom 10 in yards allowed through the air. And if you think Seattle can outscore the Niners, well, just keep in mind they don't run it well. This is a bottom 5 running team in the NFC. Walker, Smith, Charbonnet, Reed, Brooks, Brown, and Eskridge are all questionable for the Seahawks. Meanwhile, for the Niners, McLeod, Armstead, and Dwelly are out. Cloudy and mild in Santa Clara at game time. Should be a comfortable evening. Now, total-wise, 6 out of the Niners' last 9 got over the line. Seattle went 4-2 to the over in their last 6 themselves. Evening, I should say afternoon. But anyway, give me San Francisco minus 13.5 over 46. All right, next matchup. Should be a good one. Bills-Chiefs, 425 East. Now, we've seen a lot of line movement in this one. We've seen it flip. We've seen it at pick. Right now, I have it at Buffalo -1, total 48. But I do like the Chiefs at home here. Their defense, it's actually their defense that's been really good in Arrowhead this year. Of course, when it comes to offensive production, Patrick Mahomes, he's thrown for over 3,100 yards and 22 scores. I mean, this team has gotten so good that they don't even need to release their playbook throughout the regular season. I know it doesn't seem like they're playing great football, but this is a team who can establish home field, be right in the mix, play a bunch of home playoff games, and not really even have to reveal much of their playbook. But anyway, Mahomes, he's facing a Buffalo defense who's not too great away from home. The Bills are 1-4 straight up in their travels this year, and they failed to cover in all of those games except for one. And a lot of that is due to this Buffalo defense. They just haven't been good enough. They're actually in the bottom 5 in the AFC in yards allowed per play on the road. Now, injury-wise, Elam and Knox are still out for the Bills. Pacheco, Bolton, Tranquil, Cook, and Smith inactive for KC. When it comes to the weather, cold and breezy at Arrowhead Sunday. Like I said, slight breeze by game time. Going to be cold, brisk. Shouldn't see any snow or precipitation, however. Total-wise, KC saw all of their home games stay under except for one. Buffalo 7-1 to the under in their last 8. You get these two teams together, I think you're going to see a lot of public action on the over. We're not going for it. Plenty of unders between these two teams. Give me Kansas City +1, under 48. All right, next matchup. It is going to be Broncos-Chargers, 425 East. The Chargers are the 2-point favorite. Total is 44. And, well, as bad as the Chargers' defense has been, I think they can outduel the Broncos in this one. The Chargers are a top 10 point producing team at home. I'm kind of expecting a track meet in this one. The Broncos allow more yards a game than any other team except for one. These guys are giving up nearly 26 points a game, nearly a league worst. And I tell you, if you think Denver is going to torch this Charger D, just keep in mind they're completing only 19 throws a game. Now, injury-wise, Dulcich is out for Denver. P. Ryan is questionable. Meanwhile, for the Chargers, Palmer, Leonard, and Bailey are out. And even though we've seen a ton of unders between both of these teams, I know that doesn't seem very believable, especially how bad these defenses have been. But we've seen a lot of unders between both of these squads. But I don't think the defenses are going to be good enough to keep this game from going over. I think it's going to fly over. Give me the Chargers -2 over 44. Now with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. Going to be in that Eagles-Cowboys game, 8:20 p.m. Sunday evening. Dallas is -3, total's 51.5. And speaking of the total in this one, Dallas saw their last 2 straight get over the number, 5-1 to the over in their last 6. And out of all their contests at Jerry World this year, the Cowboys saw the over cash in all of those home games except for one. Now, Philly, on the other side, they saw the over cash in 4 out of their last 5. Overs against the likes of the Niners, Bills, and this very Dallas team. And if you want to see whether I'm making a play on the money line or against the point spread, this game's being featured as one of my NFL tier membership picks on my premium page. But as far as making a free pick is concerned, give me the over 51.5. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Give me the Panthers +6, under 38.5. Lions -3, over 43. Houston -3, under 33. I'm 3-0 my last 3 NFL tier membership plays on my premium page. The link for my site is in my bio. Colts plus 2.5 under 44. Browns minus 2.5 under 33 and a hook. Ravens minus 7 under 39. Atlanta minus 1.5 under 41. Vikings minus 2.5 under 40 and a hook. Niners minus 13.5 over 46. Chiefs plus 1 under 48. Chargers minus 2 over 44. With my next and final free pick, give me the over 51.5 in the Eagles-Cowboys game. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that Chairman Package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. It gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, guys, you also get access to my Chairman podcast absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information at YouTube or TikTok. Like I said, we're getting more views on TikTok. I don't know why I keep saying YouTube. But thanks for joining me on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, folks, happy Saturday or Sunday to you, depending on when you're watching this. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium page at patreon.com/BrockPage.